Some races, well, they're just not worth running. After all, the whole point of a race is that someone wins. But what if everyone loses? For decades now, countries around the world have been caught up in a deranged competition to attract multinational corporations. They think they can do this by lowering the tax rates they make multinationals pay. They think this will mean more investment to their countries by making it a more attractive place to do business. That's wrong. The evidence shows again and again what companies really care about when they're making decisions about where to invest. They want good infrastructure, well-functioning courts, and healthy, educated workers. And guess what countries need to offer those things? You guessed it, tax revenue. What winds up happening is when one country drops its corporate tax rate, others lower theirs even further. And it goes on until big international companies are barely paying tax, if they're paying any at all. This is what we call the race to the bottom.
Strange game. The only winning move is not to play.
There is only one place this takes us. A situation where multinational corporations aren't paying any tax revenue to the countries in which they operate. Actually, a lot of the richest companies in the world have already crossed the finish line. The most mind-boggling part of all this is that governments say they're lowering corporate tax rates to generate more tax revenue. Yes, you heard right. They say if the tax rates are lower, more multinationals will come to invest and they'll wind up generating more tax payments. There is one group of people who do very nicely from the race to the bottom. The shareholders of big multinational corporations. For everyone else, citizens, consumers, small businesses, and ordinary taxpayers like you and me, it's a rotten deal. That's why many of the world's top economists have been calling for governments to put an end to it once and for all with a global minimum corporate tax rate. If all, or at least most governments, agreed to a fair tax rates for corporations to pay and stuck with it, then there would be no more race to the bottom, and countries could all progress together. But countries don't have to wait for that. Governments can insist on a minimum corporate tax rate on their own. Let's stop this race. When it comes to taxing multinationals, we have the power to make sure they pay their fair share.